Live video? You are live!
Am I? I'm alive. Johnny 5. Alive, let's see. Not live according to Facebook. Why won't it do that? Hello, folks. Just let me kind of... live in your event. It's just... I might be...
You are live, it says so.
Am I? Oh, right, yeah. I can see
so on my
myself
phone.
now. It's fine. It's fine. I can see it all now. Virginia's watching. Hi, Virginia. Sorry, you're actually watching my ear.
So's Leah.
Oh, Leah's there. Yeah. Hi, Leah. Hi, Virginia. Hi, Susan. Hi, Louise. Sorry for looking at my ear. Well, it's definitely clean. So I've had a nice shower. I've shaved my head as well. So you know. I'm looking all swish and shiny. So, we're on. I want to say episode 9, but it's not. It's part 9 because it's not an episode. I'm not.
Kind of
it's not, well, it's kind of is. It's like a comedy, isn't it? So, but yeah, it's part 9. But we've been doing the junk journal. Everything can be watched in its, either in its entirety or as each individual, as you're all very well aware. We're going to be doing some ephemera today, so making ephemera, so just kind of things to put in the journal that we've been making, and then we'll be, so this is part 9, so 10 and 11 will be finishing off the insides and decorating the outside. So, and then, we're kind of done, maybe, I think. I'm going to turn the sound down on my iPhone, iPad, because I can hear myself talking, and that's not a good thing. I hear myself talking anyway. So, what I'm going to do is, I'm going to move you over in a minute. I'm going to put you again up on the overhead camera, which might not be in the right place this time, because stupidly I forgot to to put that in the right place. So it might take a bit of wiggling. So if you feel sick, that might be the best time to look away. And yeah, so we'll crack on and we'll get going then, shall we? Wow, 16 people. So I'm gonna move you now. So I think Brian's replying to people. Brian's here today, by the way, folks. So I'll move you over, put you into the cradle. Oh, away in a manger. No, not that kind of a cradle. Right place. That's kind of good enough, isn't it? What's that? I've got ginger beard and I'm brown on top. I'm bald on top. There's no brown.
She was asking what colour your hair was.
I used to have some ginger in it.
She said, just out of pure interest, what colour was your hair when you had it? And I want to say you'd make a good ginger.
Oh, right. I have a ginger beard. So, not ginger beer. Although I have had ginger beer. But not today. So, hopefully that's all nice. You can see nicely. I'm going to hook my mic lead over there, otherwise that'll get chopped off, as I always say. Is it still dangling in shot? It might be. Is it? Yeah, you can just see the reflection on my my wrist must have got fat today, because my watch is hurting today. So I'm going to put that there, which kind of should cover up that shiny bit. Yeah, can't do anything about the shiny bit of my head. I'll get rid of my old iPhone, which is for another thing later. And we are going to do some ephemera. So this is what we've been doing. Okay, so remember this is what we've been emulating. So something like this. And I realise that there might be some people that are watching today that haven't watched before. So we've been making something a bit like this. Yeah, which was the first one that I made, kind of the pilot, the trial pilot episode, although I didn't film it, so it was no episode. So, and then this is where we are at the moment. Okay, so we need to now make some things to go in here. So we need some cards to go in the front. We need some cards to go in this bit here, because we've got no journal cards or anything in there. We need to decorate this bit. We need some cards to go in these various things. Here, in here, in here, in here. Blimey, I hope you're helping me. We'll be here a long time. Okay, so let's crack on without any further ado. Okay, so what I'm going to use is I'm going to use some various bits of things. So these are index cards that have just been tea dyed, well, coffee dyed, various different types. These were actually from Paper Chase. What else do we have? I'll come back to those in a second. We've got some envelopes, and we have some frames, some slide frames as well, and then there's these. So all this is anaglypta wallpaper, so from old samples, and then just stuck onto a piece of card. And these create nice, interesting tags with a bit of texture to them. And because it's anaglypta, it's obviously been designed to take colour and, you know, whatever you want to. And then I thought I might pop this in, and this is one of the things that I'm known for making, are these types of funky cards that, what they're called, kinetic cards. Okay, so I'll come back to those in a second. So we'll start with one of the index cards. So grab an index card, any index card you like. Okay, I'm gonna use that one. Okay, and then just decorating it with my usual things. So somebody on watching today might notice this napkin and say, hang on a minute, I think I sent that. Very well. Oh, you might have done. I think you did. In fact, sorry. So the reason why I wanted to use this is because I like the faces. I won't necessarily. I think the shot is kind of a bit set up for me, but I will use parts of it. Just going to check that there isn't another layer on this. Oh, there is. There you go. It's good. It's worth checking. Okay. So, I'm going to go for this one here. Okay, we're splitting them up. We've been errant children, and they need splitting up, I think. So. Again, I am not cutting. I'm not using my water brush on this one because literally all I'm doing is tearing a bit out, and it's only a very quick and easy edge. Okay, just go down here. And the reason I'm doing it like this is because, as you know, if you get a feathered edge, it blends in much better. So I think I'm gonna have that on there. Okay, throw that over there. I think there's a bin over there somewhere, but. It might not have gone in the bin. I think I might have this on here as well. Yeah. So what I might do is I might cut one of these out. When I say might, he means he will. So yeah. So today I have. I haven't been up very long. To be fair, I had a lie-in, which is quite rare for me. I really have problems sleeping now. I used to be able to have a lie-in and, you know, have a few good hours sleep, but now I seem to get to like 7 hours is like tops for me these days. I don't know why. I love sleeping as well. I don't know what it is. So I'm going to I might have that kind of like that. So it's all just about positioning. Now, because these have already been tea dyed, there's not a lot I need to do to it. The only reason why this has got lines on it is because it came off the baking tray. But, you know, it's all good. So I'm not... because they're journal cards, you want to be able to leave somewhere for someone to write, so I'm not going to over embellish it. So I always like to think in threes. Okay, so a cluster of 3 for me is what I like to see. So this is again wallpaper. It's like I've raided the wallpaper shop. Might have done, not telling. Always do. Every time me and Brian go shopping, not that you can go shopping anymore because we're on lockdown, but when we go shopping, it's always like, oh, look at this wallpaper, we'll have a bit of this, and like, you know, they must think we must decorate like all the time, but actually it goes into our little crafty stash of goodness. So again, I'm a real fan of ripping things. I guess that's because I'm not really good at very good at fussy cutting, and what I find annoying about fussy cutting is once you do a lot of concentration, the minute you lose your concentration and you cut off something, it's usually right at the very bit where you've almost finished, and then you end up like, you know, cutting the bird's leg off or something. Okay, so I think I might have that across there. Yeah, I will. Okay, so again, just some stick glue and a piece of paper, a random piece of paper. These were free magazines that when we were doing the community hub during the last lockdown, at work we were giving these out, and we had so many delivered, it was unreal. There are a couple of million that never got distributed, that are now sat in our green recycling bin, which hasn't been collected because we're on lockdown, and also because our waste recycling people are not very good, and it's another contract I'm looking to change at some point. So what I'm going to do, cut this bit off here, just trimming it down. Okay, so we've got that bit on there, yeah, and we're going to have, I think I'm going to have that on there and that there. We've got a bit of journaling space there, and then we've got that stuff on the back. Okay, so this is kind of like speed crafting this today. It's not like me, is it, for me to do anything fast? So just going to give it a bit of a colour, because it's a bit stark white for me. I think it looks too new. I don't know whether anybody else do this. Go into a DIY store and eye up the wallpaper and come home with lots of bits of samples. It's like basic, you know, it's like free 12 by 12 paper, isn't it? Really. So, you know, the stuff that you'd probably pay a fortune for in the shops, you're getting for free. Now, I'm not encouraging you all to go out into B&Q or wherever it is and and pilfer from their their selection of free samples. But you know, we all like a free sample. I'd rather have a free sample of wallpaper than a free sample of drink when you go into a supermarket. I don't have no idea what that's all about. When you go into a supermarket and they try to ply you with alcohol, most people have just driven to the supermarket. It's probably not the best thing for you to do, ply somebody with alcohol in the supermarket. Luckily, I'm not a big drinker.
You're being asked if your Dutch stuff arrived.
Oh, it did. Yes. I've actually posted the YouTube video onto my YouTube site, my opening, and this is from my Dutch collection. So the Dutch collection, as it's now called, officially called. Yeah. So this napkin is from that stuff that you sent. So yes, I did, and I did tag you in the thing on YouTube, so you should be on there. Right, I'm having a bit of a problem here. Let me just put that down because it's going to get messy otherwise. Well, it's going to get messy anyway. Look.
Get messier.
Yeah, it's going to get messier. That's right, Brian. Messier. My trusty loyalty card. Great for like pressing things down. It doesn't have to be the RAC. It can be anything you like. In fact, I actually have a big pile of loyalty cards that aren't used for loyalty. They're exclusively used for. Sorry, this is watered down Mod Podge. They're exclusively used for pasting things down. Brian, can I just ask you to pass me a paintbrush? The paintbrush that I usually request. Sorry, my water is over with Brian, so sounded wrong, but like, you know what I meant. So anyway, moving on. Swiftly, yes, exactly. So all I've done is put a bit of let's try and get my words out again. Peter Piper picked a pecker, pickle pepper. Where's the pecker? Pickle pepper. Peter Piper picked. I've just put down some glue, and now I'm just going to go over the top with some more glue. Not too wet. Don't know what that was stuck to. Oh, it's there. A bit of dried Mod Podge, I think. Yep. It's like a bit of Parmesan cheese, but I think it's actually Mod Podge. Random. You did tune in for the random, didn't you? Okay, so that's been pasted on now. Okay, just going to take off some of those edges, and I'm just going to get rid of the Mod Podge off the top. Okay, so that's fundamentally that one journal card has been created. I'm just going to give it a bit of a dry, just so that when I put it to one side it doesn't stick to everything else really. And as you can see, when you dry it, the background colour of the napkin kind of melts into the background. The background colour kind of melts into the background. Yeah, Dave, shut up. Shut up, Dave. What do you know? What are you talking about? So.
Don't shut up, because then nobody will know what you're doing.
Oh no, that's true. Keep talking, Dave. Okay, so there we go. That's what we've got. That's our first one. Who knew I could make a journal card in matter of minutes. Most people have been watching this for like weeks and thinking, does he ever finish anything? I do. I always finish what I start. So okay, let's move on to something else. Okay, so I did see so anybody get these? Well, you will do if you're a crafter and you've got stamps. You're bound to get these. Let's get those out of the way. Right. Okay. Let's put this on the background. These things that your stamps come on. Now, if you don't keep your stamps, so sometimes I'll keep my stamps on the piece of acetate that they come on. Other times I won't. I actually store mine in CD boxes, and they're all kind of filed away and never got out again. So, but what I think they do is they make nice little kind of transparencies. Put a bit of white behind there, so you can kind of create a bit of interest. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to make this bit more interesting now. Okay, so I feel like I'm speed crafting today. Perhaps this could all go horribly wrong. Okay, so this is my scraps bag. Okay, and I'm just going to pull out a few bits of scrap paper that, you know, a bit random maybe. No, not that. Bit of print. A picture. Yep. Okay, might not use it all, but like, and then all I'm going to do is I'm going to decorate this up. Okay, so again, all I'm going to use is my trusty stick glue. You all know I'm a bit fond of the El Cheapo stick glue. Is my stick glue of choice. Okay, just going to rip off any too much excess, and then fold over any extras. So you can turn something. So these aren't actual slide cases. I do have actual slide cases, but these are just ones that I've made from taking some measurements of an actual slide case, and then recreating it on either your Cricut or your Scan and Cut or your Silhouette, or if you don't have any of those, then maybe a friend does and they can do it for you. If not, then just cut it out. So cut it out. So okay, I'm just going to maybe cut it from the back because then I can see. So all I'm going to do is cut that bit so that it folds around the corner. So you put this bit. Seems like it's very windy out there today. Brisk, I would say. Okay, and then again cut on the corner just so it folds around the corner. Anything that hangs over, just snip it off. That's the answer. Okay. So I literally could spend hours, I do spend hours, making little bits of ephemera. I can get really carried away. It's so good for your mindfulness. Just getting lost in that whole creation thing, Guess that's how Mother Nature felt. Got kind of lost in it. Oh, the only problem is you do end up with very sticky fingers. Very sticky fingers. That's why it's good to have a trusty cloth by you. Also, be careful of pets and things, because they end up getting covered in things. Like the amount of times I've had to peel something off my dog. So, as he's come into the craft room and inadvertently got covered in a bit of glue, and then like stuck himself to something, and it gets quite interesting. So all I'm looking for is I want a bit of book page. I'll just put it here. You can see I keep all sorts of things. The sweet wrappers and all sorts in here. So just be careful if you're tearing things out of old books. Be careful of what the wording is. I've come a cropper on that a couple of times when I've realised it's actually salacious or scandalous or risque. Brian doesn't seem to care. He just kind of just sticks it in. Doesn't matter. So
that's true.
Yeah, I know it's true. I've seen some of the stuff. I'm like, what are you sticking that down for? So yeah, just be careful. Sometimes if you get in, especially if you get in like just a cheap book from the from the bookshop, then there's quite a good chance that it's gonna modern literature cares less about like what it says, the language that's used. I'm trying to explain myself, but not doing a very good job. Just a musical note like that. And all I'm doing is I'm just creating a little bit of interest, bit of an interesting slide border. So it's starting to get... Sorry, dog's barking now. Goodness only knows what it's barking at. Squirrel or something, or next door's dog, or... Although next door doesn't have a dog, but somebody down the road does. Do you know, since lockdown, we've had so many people get dogs. I used to be able to take the dog for a walk, because like he's not very fond of other dogs. He's my dog. He didn't have a very good start in life. He was a rescue, so... and so anyway, he doesn't like other dogs. And I used to be able to take my dog out with no problem, first thing in the morning, before I went to work, not a problem. Now it's like Jenga, Tetris, like trying to avoid the other dogs in the area. And it's, I mean, I appreciate that some people have dogs that love other dogs, and that's great, but like, I would always be wary if I'm out and about walking and I've got a dog that doesn't mind. I've had dogs in the past that didn't mind other dogs, but I wouldn't just assume that all dogs were friendly. So, but there's lots of people that just kind of walk towards you and keep walking towards you, even when like you've got that startled look in your eyes and like you look a bit panicked and you're trying to run the other way with your dog when clearly you're obviously not built for running. I am not built for running. I'm built for meandering, not running. So, or driving. So. Yeah, Brian just agreed. Yeah, I'm more built for driving. I don't walk anywhere unless I have to. I know it's quite lazy, but you know what? I don't care. So yeah, so all I'm doing, like I say, just creating a bit of a collage, bit of a kind of franken paper style thing, although I don't like that term. Pieced paper, I guess, another way to call it. Just want a piece of. This is a great way to use all those bits of book paper you perhaps wouldn't use otherwise. You know, some book paper can be really fragile, and you wouldn't use it necessarily. Stick it to the frame, Dave, not to your finger. Yeah, it's just a good way to use up all those bits that perhaps are a bit fragile, because all you're doing is you're gluing it down, you're gluing it to something, so it doesn't need to be, you know, perfect, does it? So, I don't half keep lots of bits of rubbishy paper. Why on earth did I keep that? I have no idea. Although it's come in useful, so you know, to everybody that thinks, why did you keep that? So.
Only you thought that.
Sorry?
Only you thought that.
Did I? Alright. Not other people. Well, you don't know. You can't speak for everyone.
No, that's true, I can't.
He thinks he can, but he can't. So, yeah. So the person in the background that you can hear is Brian. So Brian's a good friend of mine, as most of you are aware who Brian is, but, you know, I'm aware that some people might not. I'm thinking, who knows Brian? He's crafting in the background. He's here. We've been kind of crafting for a couple of hours now. So this is all I do. This is my. This is what I do every weekend. Is I just spend a lot of time doing making crafts or watching Netflix. So, and The Crown's back on tonight. Yay! So my mum started watching Netflix now. And I said, you've got to watch The Crown. So she's got that on her watch list. So there you go. So there we go. We've created an interesting frame. So that's what it did look like. And that's what it's going to look like. And like I say, these aren't real slide transparencies. They are just something I've made. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to decide the bit that I want. Yeah. Okay. I'm just going to stick it down, and yes, I could cut it out first, but what I'm going to do is I'm going to stick it out. I'm going to stick it down first. Stick it down. Let's fine. Get that again, Dave. Do that again. Yeah. So that's where I want to go. I'm just using, this is my 3-in-1 glue. Fabri-Tac, Fabri-Fix, whatever you want to call it, or whatever you want to use. I'm just going to stick that over the bit that I want. I think I want it kind of like that. Yeah. And then all I'm going to do is cut round it. But I think it's just a great way. I've so many of these stamp acetates have gone in the bin, I am sure of it, when actually you could be doing something with it, and it's a bit more interest. It creates a bit of interest, doesn't it? You know, let's face it, you liked the stamp in the first place, so you're going to like the image that it was stuck to. Which is the front, Dave? Oh. It's not going well at the minute. So just going to put some glue on here. You just need to be really careful with this Fabrifix. It is liquid, so you don't want it to squidge into the frame, to the framed area. Okay, so I'm going to do that. I'm doing it from the back because then I can see what I'm doing. Just lining it up. Sorry about the paused and the no talking. That's called concentration. So there we go. We've made a little transparency. Now, ideally, I would decorate the back. Let me find something white to put this on. Ideally, I would decorate the back, and I probably will do, you know, later, or I might just stick it down so you can't see it. But again, it's just another interesting thing to go into your journal. So I'm just going to put these bits of paper away. I might actually throw that bit away now. I think I can part with that piece. Be fishing around in the bin later when I'm off camera. I'll be like, no, I threw it away. There are so many times when I've like been looking for a piece of paper thinking, where is that, and then I realised that I've thrown it away. Threw it away a few weeks ago or something. Yeah, not happy with myself then. Right, so sorry, excuse me, I just need to wet my whistle. All this talking, I haven't done this much talking since I was a school teacher. Well, not a school teacher, I was never a school teacher, but since I was a teacher. Okay, so let's have a play with some of the Anaglypta stuff. There was one that I really liked, and I don't know where I've put it. Is it that one? I bet, yeah, it is. Okay, so this is the Anaglypta wallpaper. Just put onto a background. It is spongy, so it's proper Anaglypta. You know, it's, you know, not name dropping or anything, but it's proper Anaglypta. And then what? So what can you do with this? Well, you can ink it up. Okay, for a start. So you can just put some ink, because I think it's too white personally at the minute. So if you ink it with just like a Tim Holtz Distress ink, what you're doing is you're colouring the background, which is paper, because what you'll find is this bit will just wipe off, okay, because it's plastic. So it's like blown vinyl. Well, it's not like blown vinyl, it is blown vinyl, to be fair. So I'm just taking the white out of this. It has, for me, that looks quite I don't know, 20s sort of Art Nouveau kind of feel to it. It's that kind of, that sunburst, I guess. So just putting some, and that's really, like I say, all that's doing is getting some colour onto the background bit, and that's why a brush is really good, because if you try and use one of these, you're going to have to push down hard to get it to go in the background, whereas a brush you can kind of do with relatively little effort. This is my workout for today. Gets rid of your bingo wings doing that. So, no. Not that I'm saying you have bingo wings. All right, let's just clear that up. Okay, so what do you do for the foreground? Okay, so then you can use something like an archival. Don't use the same brush. You use an archival, and I'm using a much smaller brush now. You can go over that top surface, and that will, it might not stay on perfectly. You know, there'll be bits where it rubs off before it's dried, but what you can do is you can just get all of those stark bits. And the reason why I don't just do the whole thing is because when you're putting this on paper, it doesn't blend as well. So whereas the water-based stuff does blend really nicely. So also I like the kind of, you get that kind of bit of a undulation from this. Patchy, I guess you could call it, but we won't call it patchy. All right. So there you go. Just putting that on there. I'm just going to colour this bit in. Probably going to cover it in some way, but I'm just going to colour it for now. Okay. The other good thing that I might do is I might do it, but I might not do it on camera because I don't have any to hand. But I could go over here with some size and then gild it. I do a lot of, well, I used to do a lot of gilding. I don't do so much anymore. But you can gild it, and that'll really pick up the accents to it. Okay. You could always go over it with some, what's it called? That stuff. Brian.
What stuff? Gilding wax?
Gilding wax or gilding polish. That's the one. Yeah, good. See? Brian just knows what I'm going to say. It's so good. So useful, to be fair.
It's because I'm the script editor.
Yeah. Editing the script in my head. So what I want to do is I'm going to have a look at maybe having, don't know, no, that's too. So I really do feel like it should have some kind of gilding. So what I might do is I might put that to one side, and I will probably, because I do an extension to this, so I do a part A of this, which only goes onto my YouTube channel. I might finish that off on my YouTube channel, just because I really feel like now I've talked about gilding, I really want to do the gilding. So, you're going to have to bear with me because it'll take me a while to find it. Okay, so what I'll do is, can you pass me that gilding polish that I can see on there, Brian? I think there's one just there on the top shelf. I don't know what colour it is. Black. Well, it's grey. I don't know what colour it actually says this is.
Green.
Graphite this is. Or green. Okay, or blue. These, I haven't used these for ages. I'll just point out to you folks, I've got blue here. So I don't think I have any other colours.
That's it.
Okay, so these have an applicator on them, okay, which is probably dry because I haven't used it for so long. So you can soften those up by giving them a bit of a wet. And then squidging out too much moisture. Sorry if my shiny head just came into shot. Okay. Trying to smash your glass mad with it when you.
Not sensible.
And just really lightly brushing over it. What you'll find, because if you put too much gilding polish onto something, especially onto anaglypta, because it's plastic and it's not porous, it's not gonna, soak in. You'll find that it gets a bit slimy. That's a technical term, is slimy. So yeah, so just kind of going over it, and you see what you're doing is you're picking up that, you're highlighting that. You only need a tiny bit, don't go gouging in, it's not shoe polish. So, oh well, you could put it on your shoes, I guess. Have interesting coloured shoes. So I'm just going to go over with all of this. And just picking up those colours. Now, gilding polish does need to dry off, and you can speed it up. You can use not a hairdryer, an air dryer, but you just need to be careful because it's anaglypta. You don't want to melt it. So all you're doing is you're going to just kind of heat it over just to kind of set it. But you don't want to get it too hot, so you start melting the anaglypta. I mean, obviously, blown vinyl is the generic term, but like most people know it as anaglypta. I'm just feeling it just to see if it's kind of dry. It makes your hands nice. Although anything you use, to be fair, makes your hands nice. It makes you very interesting when you go to the supermarket and you've got funny coloured hands. Okay, so you could then go into the background and pick up the colour in the background. colours on it. Let's use some of this. Not that one. Let's use the crushed olive. These are just cheap makeup brushes. So don't use. Well, I don't. I'm not saying I don't use. I don't have a lot of money, so I don't go and buy everything. So I don't. You know, if I see something, I'll look at a way to be able to find that and get it cheaper. And I know that that's terrible. You know, because like you're not using the real thing. So I could spend, I don't know, £5 on buying one of these as a craft brush, or I could just go on to, I got these from Amazon, and they were £8 for a set of 4, so that's what I did. So I don't know whether I should do this. I don't know whether I want green on it, but you know, I'll do it for you guys. That's very firm. That's like an old mattress, that. See, I used to use these all the time. You can tell because I've used quite a bit of them. Okay, but you can just then, maybe if you had a better brush, maybe a better sponge. Yeah. So yeah, they suggest when you use these things, especially if they've got a thing included, that you moisten this, squirt a tad of water in there before you pack them up. But I did do that, but then I haven't got them out for like the last, I don't know, few months, several months, possibly a year. Okay, so just a bit random over the top. And put that back in there. Okay, so put these out of the way. Okay, so we've just got a bit of interest. Let's just get any extra off that I don't want on there. Get that off there. Okay, and then what are we going to do? So, do I want some more of that, or do I want maybe a bit of this? Yeah, maybe a bit of that and a bit of that. Maybe what it needs is a stamp. So I'm thinking a stamp. So if you don't have any stamps, okay, so I don't collect stamps in the kind of geeky kind of way. I collect stamps for my craft stuff. This is just wallpaper, not wallpaper, sorry, wrapping paper, by the way. So I have loads of just stamps. People send me stamps from all over the world, etc. But if you don't have stamps, you can make your own. So all you need is take an image that you like, kind of square it up, because it's always better if it looks a bit squarer, Dave. Let's do it that way so I can see the edge. Don't know why I'm singing to you. So there we go. So put that on there and then find your blade, Dave. There we go. I've put it away for a change. That makes a change. So I'm just going to cut this down. A bit more care and attention would be better, I suppose, but never mind. It's really hard to do it when you can't lean over it, because if I lean over it, you won't see anything. All you'll see is the top of my head, which I should really sell for advertising space. So. Oh, Dave, get you. Oh, can't get that off the mat now. So I'm just squaring it up. Might not be perfect, but perfection doesn't exist. It's a myth. Or is it a mister? Never mind. You didn't come for the entertainment, which is a really good job. So, there we go. I've got my background. Okay, so what, sorry, foreground. So what I need is something in the background. So I can use something a bit interesting, I guess. I might use this. Yep. Okay, so these scissors. So these are, just cut something for you so you can see. So these are scissors that create like a scalloped edge, and they are great for mimicking that kind of stamp kind of feel. Okay, so you can make your own stamps. They look really good if you put them on book paper. So this is some French book paper. I'll take that out there. Le Barber de Seville. You see, I've just murdered the French language there, haven't I? Brian.
No more than usual. Hello, French.
Yeah, my hello French has just come out. Ah, oui. So, yeah, hello French is. Don't get me started on that. So. Oh, you see, I've started now, and I cannot get out of it.
We're going to start an accent full stop.
Yeah, well, yeah, I really shouldn't do anybody's accent because I just murder it. So, okay, so I'll just stick that on there. Now all I'm going to do, I'm going to cut around it. I'm going to cut some of this book page off first. Let's see the wood for the trees. Okay, so now all I'm going to do is, if you're going to cut this book paper, this with this fluted edge, this isn't stamped like, this is stamped like. So what you need to do is you need to cut it so that you're cutting with the stampy style edge towards your project. That doesn't make any sense. I can't really explain it any better, so you're on your own, kids. There you go. So you get that, you're getting the stampy edge rather than the scalloped edge is what I'm talking about. So you're kind of doing it a bit cack-handed, like. And that was a bit closer, so now I'm going to have to neaten that up because I can't live with that. When you go to cut again, you just need to be careful that you kind of line it up. Well, you don't have to. If you're not worried about it, then don't. But it's a bit of OCD for me. So you see, I can't cut it like that because it would give you the wrong edge. So I've got to cut it like this. Okay. And then what you've got then is a giant stamp. Brian's just clinking in the background. He's not drinking on his own. Well, not that I'm aware of. Maybe I've driven him to drink.
Not that I'm admitting to in public.
Yeah, there you go. He's not admitting to it. Sorry, got an itch. So there we go. We've made our own little stamp. So yeah, you can make your own stamps and things just to kind of put onto things. So I'm going to put that on there. I'm just trying to pick up some of the colours from the background because it's got yellow, it's got a bit of green. There's no currently no blue in there, but I'm not saying it won't be. There we go. Might have a bit of that on there. So just tear this. I am a fan of torn pieces of paper. So if you tear down, yeah, what you're going to split the fibres and you're not going to see the white edge. So if you want to see the white edge, you tear it that way, and the fibres split from the top surface. So then you get that kind of broken white edge. So it's not quite so clean, and that's what the kind of edge that I like. So again, just tearing it down, because that's the bit that you can then highlight with a bit of grunginess look. So I'm just trying to decide how I'm going to have it. I don't need to tear it all because you're not going to see it all. So I'm going to put that on there, like that, stick that to there. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, so now I've made that broken edge, all I'm going to need to do is just make it look a bit aged. I really need a new one of these. I do have another one, I just can't bring myself to use it yet. It's starting to, like, every time I scrape it across an edge, it's starting to break up. So there we go. So I'll do that to my, let's get a bit more ink on the subject, Dave. Just going to do that to the edge of my stamp to kind of give it a bit more of a defined line at the back. So yeah, just going all the way round. I like mine quite grungy, dirty. Don't say it like that, Dave. That sounds really
Inside
bad. Inside voice, yes. Me and Brian have this thing where he tells me that that's my inside voice. I don't have a good filter. So yeah. So I'm sorry. I just came out, couldn't get rid of it. Okay, so there you go, got those two. Okay, and I might just have something else in the background, maybe a tuft of stuff hanging out, maybe. Not quite like that. So this is just it's webbing, I think, and all I've done is I've just spent a long time kind of fraying it at one edge, thinking I might use that for something, and guess what? This is what I'm going to use it for. I'm just going to put that in the background. Yep, I like that. Yep. That's a definite yep. None of this was pre-planned. I kind of like to just... I'm always better if I kind of flow naturally than try and do things. And that's why if I don't think I'm going to finish that, I'm going to tell you I'm not going to finish it. I'm not going to force myself to come up with an answer. There you go. Spread it out a bit. It just adds a bit of interest. Stick that onto there. So again, using the same 3-in-1 glue. I'm not going to stick my fibres down, although we just said that and then did it. You don't need a huge amount, just making sure that it makes full contact because it's on anaglypta, so it's got the undulation to kind of deal with. And also, I'm not sure, I've never tried to stick anything to anaglypta, so I'm not quite sure whether it will stick. We'll soon find out. Mm-hmm. There's only one way to try. So that's kind of sticking up. That's... Oh, shh. Don't go sticky ploppy for me. And if you get any of this on the surface, if you just wait until it's dry and then rub over it, it kind of just balls off. Easy. So yeah, there you go. So there's just another tag that we've made. So like we're kind of speed crafting now. Oh, I've got 10 minutes to go. Oh dear, what can I do in 10 minutes? Not a lot.
I'm sure you'll find something.
I'm sure I'll find something. Okay, so a very quick another tag, I think. And sorry, another. No, let's do this envelope. So, so that we're not getting too technical, I am going to tear this out. The only reason why I'm using this is because it's to hand and I haven't got the time to go rummaging. Blimey, that hour goes so quickly. Well, it does for me. Probably dragged for you guys. Where should I put it? Put it there. Yeah, okay, it's going there. Just stick it down, Dave, if you haven't got time to think about it. Speed crafting! And now, for my next trick, I am going to do it without the aid of a parachute. Oh no, that would be a big mistake, not doing something. No, wrong one. Wrong one. Wrong. Right. again, just taking the colour out of it just to make it look a bit more authentic. Okay, I had a lid for that once upon a time. No time to find it. So, oh, there it is. Okay, I will put a floral thing on here. Something on here, maybe something from this, maybe that, because it's kind of picking up that same colour. I just tear it out. Don't have time for the water brush, so I'd normally split it with a water brush, but don't have the time. Brian's having far too much fun off camera, by the sounds of it. Oh, there we go. Put a bit of that on, and then I might use a bit of the yellow over the top. Okay, so I was going to say, anybody know where my brush is? I found it. It's all right. Panic over. You don't need to tell me. Remember, not too wet when you put this stuff on. So again, sorry, just realised I've gone quiet. So again, just the same way as we did before. Always brushing out, because then you're going to have less problems with like big air pockets and too many wrinkles. I don't mind the wrinkles in it. What's Brian laughing about? I have no idea.
Tracy Evans, she put, "Oh goody, someone else without a filter. Welcome to my world."
Yep. So we can both be on the naughty step together, Tracy. So yeah, I'm. As Brian will testify, I have said some things out loud that perhaps should never have been said.
Mm-hmm.
But you know, and then I mean, I have a good excuse. I just I'm autistic, so like, you know, it kind of, but it's kind of my get out of jail card free, because really, I guess I should just not bother saying it. So, but you know, if you're going to ask me a question, if you're going to say to me, "What do you think of this?" then you know, you either need to tell me what your answer needs to be, or you don't ask me, because like, I'm going to give you the answer and it might not be the answer you want to hear. And so very often, people will come to me for the right answer, for the answer that their friends haven't told them. Does this dress suit me? No, it bloody well doesn't. Or, does my bum look big in this? What, in this room? So, yeah. So I wouldn't say anything deliberately. I wouldn't go out of my way to go and be cruel to somebody. But you know, if you're going to ask me a question, expect the answer. And also, don't ask me my opinion if it's, you know, you're going to get upset about it not being the same as yours. So, yeah, put that there, I think. So, anyway, blending this back in. Anyway, changing the subject.
Yeah,
quickly changing the subject. Okay, so all I've done is I've layered these on. Yes, I realise you can't see the wallpaper now. You might not be able to see it when it's dry either. But like, if you don't put it on, and then you've got like a big space, and you think, "Oh, I wished I'd done that." It's always better to put it on and cover it up. You don't need it, whatever. So I'm just going to dry this over, because I just want to finish this off. So I realise drying is not very... It's watching glue dry rather than watching paint dry. Not the most interesting of things. Look at this, multitasking. I've just managed to put the lid on the glue with my left hand and screw it on, whilst drying with my right hand. Let's see if I can put the lid on that glue as well. There we go, done. Oh, it's still a bit wet. You need to pick it up because it gets a bit wet underneath, so that the moisture seeps through. Be careful as well with these things. Yesterday I really burnt my little finger with it. So I do have kind of asbestos fingers from it anyway, so So there we go. So it's not completely dry. So, but what I would then do is use your distress ink. I won't go over the bits that aren't dry, but if I go over the bits that are dry, and what you'll find is if you go over over with the distress ink, it kind of melts it. It melts it into the background, so you don't. It's not. Your eye isn't drawn to it. Okay, so I haven't finished that, but I've kind of got to the point where I'm not going to do any more. So I'm going to go and refresh my thirst at the moment. I'm feel so parched. So anyway, that's what I've done. Is I've made that. Okay, so that's not finished. That will get finished. Okay, we did this, which again is not finished, and I'll finish that on my YouTube. Again, with that, I'll probably do that on YouTube. Okay, we did this. We made this little slide. Okay, which I will put on the background because it's easier to see. Yeah. We made this. So we've done a few things in the hour. Okay, so hopefully you had a bit of fun. Hopefully you enjoyed it. Hopefully if you didn't learn something, you perhaps learned how not to do something, or learned what not to say, or that you shouldn't ask either me or Tracy anything. So, because, well, we don't have a filter. But thank you for watching. Like I say, I'll put the other stuff on my YouTube. I will be back next week to do some more ephemeral bits to stick in. I'll do some off camera as well, so we've got some to like completely fill the journal up with, and tell you about. It'll be nothing groundbreaking. It won't be anything you won't have seen me do before. I'm just very aware that Joe's going to be on at 4, so I'm kind of trying to not, dally too much. So I am going to finish this all in the 11 episodes. Okay, so next week I will start doing the outside, and then the following week we'll finish it and go and just have a talk through. So that's it. So thanks very much for watching. I love you all without exception. As you know, this is Dash of Dave. I'm also known as Dash of Dave. You can, watch all the others back. They're in the archives. It's not the National Archives. It's just the JAMA's archives. But yeah, thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed it, and love you all without exception. It's only give me a reason not to. And sending you kisses, mwah, 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 and a big hug. Oh, and you have a lovely day, and I will see you next week. Take care, folks. Thanks for tuning in. Bye. Bye. Find the stop button. Where is it? It's always in a different place. Oh, it's there.